Okay, so I gotta say that the YouTube Live thing is really wonky. There's some things that I don't like about it. The one thing I like about Facebook Live is that you just go live. You just go live. But with YouTube Live, what they want to do is they want you to take create a thumbnail first. And so what they do is they uh, like when you hit next, no matter what you're doing, it just like all of a sudden three, two, one, bam, takes a picture of you, and I hate it because I'm not prepared for that yet, and so I always have to take a separate picture and then write on it and create something. It's just a whole lot of extra work that you don't have to do when you go on Facebook. So here's what's really weird is that so I take a picture, I put some writing on it to create a nice thumbnail, and I share it on Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn. But for some reason, and when you hit next and surprise, we're going to take a picture of you right now. It goes three, two, one. I just got out of the way because I don't want to be in the picture, like it because it's not. It's I don't know. It's just I don't know why they do it that way. But here's what's so weird. Once it takes a picture, then you can upload your custom one, which I just don't know why they don't give you that choice in the beginning. So I created a custom thumbnail for this video. But when I go to share it on like LinkedIn and Twitter, it's fine. But on YouTube, what shows up is that initial picture that it insisted on taking. So I was like, I'm not going to spend all day on doing this. I'm just going to get done. So if you came from Facebook, that was not supposed to be the picture. So let's take a look at this. So we made our dough. It was flour and water and salt and two cups of flour, yeast, a teaspoon of sugar, about a half teaspoon of salt, about 3/4 to a cup of water. Now I added egg, some cornmeal, some olive oil, and some extra spices like garlic and pepper and rosemary to make it interesting. We mixed it up and then we let it sit for an hour. So let's take a look. And in that hour, I made myself lunch. It was really good. So you can see it's expanded quite a bit, probably doubled in size. So what we're going to do now is we need to beat it back down. And let's get prepared here. I'm going to get a cookie sheet. Baking sheets. Well, first of all, I'll turn my oven on at 350. Now I have baking sheets. Oh, I know, they're here. And what I do is I hate having to clean these pans, so I just use aluminum foil. Is this the best thing to cook bread on? Most likely not, but it's what I got. I decided that I'm going to do the European style, where it's just like a round loaf, as opposed to putting it in a bread pan and it coming out into a more, sliceable kind of bread. Because I'm not into making sandwiches with it. Put a little oil on there, just pan. Works pretty well. So what we need to do is we need to do the kneading and rising part too. Having your dough rise is like a two-part system. So what I do, you can do it right on your counter. It's messy though, so I put some wax paper down, and I'm gonna get some flour out because this flour is gonna help me control the dough a little bit more. It'll make it less sticky. Hopefully, you can see what I'm doing there. And I'm still on no carbs until tonight. So for my lunch, I had 2 frozen hamburger patties, and I fry them up, and then I put some cheese on it, like cheeseburgers. And then I made a condiment. It's pretty good because it's got no carbs in it. I mix mayo. The mayo's got a little, but just like so light, it's hardly anything. I take mayo and mix it with relish, and then I have this chili. What is it? Chili garlic sauce. This is so good. Oh my god, it's hot. It's hotter than the regular sriracha or whatever, but it tastes better. It's got more garlic in it. So We put some flour on here. This is going to help me work the dough without it constantly sticking to my fingers. And then we're just going to get it out of the bowl here. And it's really gooey and sticky right now. Really gooey and sticky. We can see it's a lot more fluffier. So we're gonna work this and see how the flour allows. Like right now, it's sticking to my hands, but this flour here is gonna help give me. See, now it's beginning to be a little more workable because the flour kind of gives you a drier surface. God, I hope I do this well. Kind of embarrassing if I blow this. I still think there's probably too much water, but that's okay. We're adding flour. We'll get the consistency right here. You don't want it too thick either. There's a Goldilocks. You don't want it to be like a bucket of slime, but you don't want it to be a brick either. You want it to, you want it to have. See, now it's beginning. See how now it's beginning to not stick to me. And we're just going to work this for a while. Really get that dough. I'm not an expert. I don't know what why it works this way, but this kind of two-part system really seems to work. And I'm just working. And before it, see how it's getting smoother. We're getting it to the right consistency here. Still sticking to my fingers, but look, I got all this flour, and if I need more, I'll put some more on there. But we're just kind of working the dough, getting that yeast kind of distributed. And like I said, this extra flour is making this easier to work with. It's kind of nice consistency. It's almost like silky. It's almost like say a lubricant because it's making it drier, really, but make it more workable. And we're beginning to get the right shape here. And some people say you want to work this for 10 minutes. It might be a little excessive. All right, I want to put a little bit more flour, but I got to clean the stickiness off my hands to do so. I want to make a big mess. Oh my God, it tastes great though. Yes, you're not supposed to eat raw dough, but it's Friday and we're having a good time. Like I said, if Laura's making soup tonight. She's making a beef stew. It's a beef vegetable stew with a kind of tomato sauce. Yeah, there we go. This flour, it's beginning to get to the right consistency. And just turn it over. Get more of that flour in there. I'll have if I screw this up tonight, I got another go at it tomorrow because I'm making pizza. So I used regular yeast. There's a special yeast that I think is Fleischmann makes that is particular to pizza. In fact, they say not good for bread. So I'm gonna take their word for it. All right. So basically, I've created it into a little ball here. And it looks pretty nice. I like it. I'm not going to screw with it anymore. And I'm going to pick this up. And I'm going to set it right here in my pan. And put a little more dust on it. And see, this is why I do this. Now, I still got to wipe down the counter a little bit. But at least most of this, I can just throw it away. Some people, like you see the Italians, like the real Italian pizza chefs, and they'll have just a nice piece of marble that they're working on, and they just throw the flour on the marble and do all the work on a big piece of marble. I mean, that's nice. Some of you might have really, really nice kitchens. My kitchen is it's a functional kitchen. That's for sure. I certainly make a lot of good food here, but it's nothing fancy. But I guess that's what I want to get across is that you don't have to be fancy to be good. Washing my hands again because I just used the rag to disinfect the counter. So every time if you're drinking at home, every time I wash my hands, take a drink. Now, here is our dough, our bread. We're gonna let that rise, but I'm gonna give it a little extra loving. I'm just gonna drizzle some olive. Ooh, that's quite a bit of drizzle there. But put a little olive oil on top of it. It'll give us a nice little golden sheen as it cooks, and it'll also help trap in some of that moisture. And I set my oven for 350. Actually, yeah, it's okay. I'll turn it off because we're gonna let it sit for at least 40 minutes, at least. All right, I put some olive oil on it, and let's put some toppings on it. Let's make it interesting. So we've already committed to rosemary. I'm gonna put a little on top too. Laura's not crazy about it because she doesn't like, it's like little sticks, and so she's like, yeah, they get between my teeth, and I just don't like the feel. But I think when you cook it, it's not as bad. We'll put a little salt on top. This is a kosher salt. Kosher salt really works well. It's not as strong as like your regular iodine. We'll dust it. We'll put a little extra garlic. Keep the vampires away. No vampires tonight. And sesame seeds. We both really fall in love with sesame seeds. So, yeah, I'm going all out. But this is going with a stew. So, you want a nice hearty bread. And there we go. That's it for right now. We'll come back and we'll just come back in an hour. We're not in a hurry. What I'd like you to do though is take a look at what it looks like, right? Because you're going to be surprised when you see the transformation before we put it in the oven. It's going to blow up again. So it's kind of a two-part. I'm to be honest with you, I've only started making bread a few months ago, so I'm really on a journey. And I guess that's one of the things that I want to share with you is that I by no means do I want to tell you that I'm an expert. I'm not an expert novelist, although I think I do as good a job as any. I'm not an expert social media marketer. But I'm learning as we go, and I'm taking you along on the ride and explaining to you what I'm doing and what's working and what's not working and my thoughts on it. I'm not an expert cook. It's not my profession. I'm a lifetime student now. I can cook better than the average person. Excuse me, the average person who doesn't cook, for sure. And I make good food, and the people that share that food with me, which is mostly Laura, seems to like it a lot. And things come out. I know when I don't do a good job, and that's fine because you learn by your mistakes more than your successes. That's for damn sure. Excuse me. That's certainly for sure. So we'll come back in an hour, and that'll be really brief because I'm just going to show you what it looks like before I put it in, and then we'll come back one last time when I take it out. And then once I take it out, I'm going to wrap it in the foil it came in, and then take it over to Laura's house, and then we're going to have it tonight with her meal. All right, thank you very much, and I will see you guys soon.